You know, I would just like to say I was asked a question. Why do you see a lot of people, especially young black guys, with their pants underneath their butts? There was a big conversation going on, and I was asked, me and several other gentlemen, why was this trend of thinking or thought not attacked from within the black community first, since it started in prison? To which me and several other gentlemen told them, sagging pants. Remember, sagging spelled backwards is niggers. And I hate that expression, but that's what sagging is, spelled backwards is. Just do it. Just take each alphabet and place it on a line, you'll see it. But sagging started from a place far more diabolical even than prison. It started in chattel slavery in America, right here. Have you ever heard of buck breaking? But this is not about buck breaking per se. This is about sagging pants. Why are they wearing pants underneath their butts? You see, as the conversation progressed, it stated, wow, well, sagging pants was let people know that this guy, this man with the pants underneath his butt belonged to somebody else, this other man that was in prison. But see, that's wrong. I mean, what they're saying is not wrong, but it did not start. Sagging pants did not start in prison. Sagging pants started in slavery, during slavery time. See what these slave masters, we just call it what it was, they would get the most dominant, strongest male figure, and to break him down, especially that type of slave master, they would break, it would have other males tie him down and strip his clothes off and beat him and beat him and beat him into submission. And then they would get the entire slave congregation, so to speak, around. You should look at some of the narratives, and I mean, not only that, look at some of the narratives, the narratives of the slaves. Do you know there were actually sex farms? Now let's go back in history to New Orleans. I'm not going to tell you. Just do a little research and see how horrifically, disgustingly perverted it was. And they would tie this male down, and that type, not all now, but that type of sick, demented person would actually rape, sodomize the male slave, and told them that they would get that or even worse if they try to divide their masters. I mean, that real disgusting, skin-crawling foolishness. And another thing I like to talk about, the breakdown in the infrastructure of the black family. Do you know that black people hardly even get married? I was at a wedding yesterday. It was beautiful. I pray to God, to the good Lord, that wedding, that marriage lasts. Do you know, since it's not 73%, do you know 75% of all black children are born in a single parent house raised by their mothers or by a woman? Do you know that's look at the numbers. We only make up 13% of the population. Look at the AIDS rate in African Americans. Look at this. See, we don't have access to health care like most other people. All this marching up and down to integrate with people that don't even. I'm not going to go there now. That's subject before another video. I'm just going to give you just a little info, a brief synopsis on just a little brief information on this. Look at this here. A decline in marriage is steep among blacks in 1960. Roughly 74% of whites were married, and the rate dropped to 56% by 2008. This is a big drop, but not compared to the plummeting marriage rate for blacks in 1960, 61%. We're not talking about a government manipulated number. It was actually about 65. But 61% of blacks were married in 1960. By 2008, get this, it was only 32% of blacks that were even married. And more blacks got divorced than were married. I'm just going to give you a little bit more. 1 second, just hold on. It's you have to figure. Do you know that only as much as like 42% we own our own homes? Do you know we own no businesses? I've said this in my last video. But the black family has been attacked ever since the death of the assassination of the civil rights leaders. It happened long ago, but we're going to go into that a little further later on. But you know, what has a lot to do with it is our ability to put God first and unite. Remember, united we stand, divided we fall. If we could unite within our own community, what an awesome, and know what to do with our finances and support our own businesses. That means a heck of a lot. Let's build our community again and stop blaming everybody else. We cannot survive at this rate. Do you know you have over 40 million Americans that are in poverty? 23 million alone are white. Do you understand that? You know you have over 20 million African Americans that work below the poverty level. These are numbers that are actual fact. We can have different opinions, but we can't have different facts. We're in a heck of a place. And it have a lot to do with the policies of this administration and not just this one. That's just a symptom of it. Do you understand me? You have to be very careful of the people who you're voting for. Because of the tax breaks for the rich. Look at these people. Look at the government shutdown. You mean the military, those who are out there risking their lives, were not getting paid, while these people their salary started at $174,000 a year, and some of them go up to as much as $190,000. They sit around with all these vacations, 3 or 4 30-day vacations, paid health care. We pay for that. They need, Congress and the House and the President need a 15% pay cut. And when they have a shutdown, a government shutdown, Congress, the House, and the President should not get paid either. If the military don't get paid, they shouldn't either. All they do is sit down and have entire Americans pulling apart because they have America divided. It is written in Scripture, a house divided against itself will not stand, and it cannot. We are a laughing stock to the world. Vladimir Putin think we're nothing but a country of idiots and buffoons. I went off course there for a little bit. I was trying to take you someplace. There's going to be a part 2 to this. Most politicians, Democrat or Republicans, care nothing about you, and they're as full of crap. Get this, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Most politicians are as full of crap as a constipated elephant. I don't care what political party they belong to. They're different sides of the same coin. They're owned by big business and special interest groups. Look at the Koch brothers. Look what Ron Paul said I'm getting into the politics just for a moment. Look what Ron Paul said. You talk the GOP and they passed this spending bill. He said they talked about Obama like a dog. But their bill is far worse. Such hypocrisy. They don't care anything about the American people. Be extremely careful who you vote for. Ron Paul is right. Hypocrites and phonies. Bernie Sanders is right. These people are phonies. They don't care anything about you. What? Look what they're doing. They're cutting your health care instead of improving it are working out what's wrong in the bill. You're trying to do away with it, but you have government health care, really? And give billionaires tax cuts? Carrie already told you many of the others. Look how many of these companies have closed down after that. They're not working. They're not going to give any raises to anybody. They're closing down. What about Sam's Warehouse? They're closing down thousands of stores. I've gotten off of my general topic. America is more divided now than at any time in history. Not any time in history, I repeat, more than any time in the last 100 years. We know it was extremely divided during the Civil War. I'm not going back that far. I have to repeat that in the last 100 years. And black folks, we all need God right now. We have to come together. We have to rebuild our families and unite. And one thing, we have to stop with this black on black violence. Stop murdering each other. There's no other race in history that's doing this. We've marched up and down to align ourselves with people who care nothing about us. I'm not saying all the Republican policies are bad. But what do you think about this deficit bill, huh? What do you think? They're spending more money than Obama did. This is ridiculous. And we have to, black folks, we have to unite and come together and build our community. But we must keep God first. Because where there's God, there's always hope. God bless you, folks. And let's keep on fighting. In Jesus' name. And pull your pants up, Negro. God bless. God is watching, and He's the final judge. God bless.